Hi there. Do you want to create your own game? Or maybe you have already started? Are you planning to do it alone with friends or maybe a small team and you feel inspired by the Unity Asset Store with its thousands of assets? Well, let me show you why Unity Asset Store or maybe any other store actually will not help you to create your own game. At least not in most cases. Most of you have probably seen tons of videos like I create game in 1 week or I made a game just in 2 days. On the other hand, there are videos where developers says I spent 5 years on my game. That's confusing, right? And the funny thing was they all actually telling the truth. So why there is such huge difference in the timelines? And the answer lies in the definition of what a game actually is. For example, on Steam, about 50 new games are released every single day, but all of those really games. From time to time, I check those new releases and I see very different kind, let's call them products. For instance, a developer creates a flat plane, adds a free watcher texture from the store, put here a boat model with cabin from the store, and place here a character from the store. You know, this cute gray guy which usually used in tutorials. And basically that's it. No, there is placed a sound of a captain voice in the cabin, and what you can actually do, walk around this boat and to see story from the captain. Basically, it's the holiday experience. Is that really a game? In my opinion, no. Why developers publish such kind of games? I don't actually know. Because publishing games on Steam costs money, you should pay a fee. Maybe it's some kind of business strategy when you keep pumping out dozens of such games every month and maybe in future you will become rich. I don't know. Actually, I don't have statistics for this, but if you know more about it, please share in the comments. But let's get back to the question, what actually makes something a game? Oxford says, a game played by electronically manipulating images produced by a computer program on a monitor or other display. Technically correct, but not really helpful. Wikipedia says, an electronic game what involves interaction with a user interface or input device to generate visual feedback. Much better. Here is my personal definition. I believe something becomes a game if it has at least two mechanics. Yes, two, at least. If it's have only one, it feels more like a technical demo. And that's the bare minimum. For example, my game have 18 mechanics and systems, even after I simplified my ideas dramatically. Otherwise, I will never finish it. Replayability. A player should be able to come back and continue their progress. If your game resets to the beginning every time, I'd call it a prototype. Polish. It doesn't have to be big, but it should at least avoid throwing errors, glitches or unpleasant bugs at the player. Otherwise, again, it's just a prototype or a proof of concept. So, can you create a game in 1 week? The answer is yes, but it should be really small and very simple. And in this case, Unity Asset Store will help you a lot. Can you make a game in 2 days? Yes and no. At game jams, developers often create something in 48 hours or 72 hours, but they barely sleep and they already have experience. They often bring their own code libraries or even frameworks, and they come prepared with ideas. But let's return to the main topic of this video. Meet the main killer of the Unity Asset Store. Level design. Yes, level design. And I will explain why. By the way, there are other killers too. UI design, UX design, and some other designs. But they all work in the same way. What does good level design give you? First of all, it's a game feel. The game is pleasant to look at and play. Next is clear goals. The player knows what they can and cannot do. And first impressions. The first 5 minutes of gameplay matters a lot. What does good level design require? Oh, it's a huge topic. Dozens of key elements depending of your type of the game. But the one of the common and important thing is a visual style. You can choose stylized, cartoon, low poly, realistic, or whatever you like, but your game must stick to one style. If you think you can just grab low poly assets from the asset store and drop them into your game, technically you can. But even within the same style, assets often don't match and your game will not be looking as it should be. It can ruin the entire experience. If your project is small, or if you are willing to spend a lot of money on paid assets, it might work, especially if you buy everything from one publisher. But here is another hidden issue. You don't get asset source files. No Blender models, no GIMP or Photoshop files, nothing. Imagine the surprise when you realize your favorite 3D model don't even have proper light matte UVs, or it have too many polygons and you can't fix it. And Unity have some automatic remappings and they basically doesn't work as expected. So, do I recommend avoiding using of Unity Asset Store? No, not at all. Especially if you are a solo developer or if you are prototyping. And if you will be lucky, maybe a Unity Asset Store cover all your needs. But if it doesn't, then be prepared for some pain. It's not the end of the world and you just don't have an easy button. But you still want to create your own game, so let's go back to work. In my own case, I have several stages or scenes in my game, and some of the assets can cover my needs, and I'm trying to isolate such assets within a single stage to keep things consistent. There is also the option of contacting the publisher for help. I haven't tried it out, but it might work. So, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like button and subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Bye. Hi there. Еще раз. Fired by the Unity Asset Store? Well, just in 2 days. And or on the other hand, there are but in this case, why? So why is there is such huge difference in the timelines? On Steam there is about 50 new releases, about 50 new games released every day. But let's go. So, do I recommend avoiding using of Unity Asset Store?